getting too deep into it, but honestly with a show like this, everybody is a suspect. Kristen here, and today we are talking about Pretty Little Liars Original Sin episodes 4 and 5. If you missed it, I did an overall review of the first 5 episodes, which you can check out right here. But starting today and throughout the rest of the season, we're going to be diving even deeper into the story. So just as a refresher, in the first 3 episodes, we meet a group of 5 young women who believe that they're being targeted by their high school bully, so they come together to get revenge on her. The bully, Karen, tries to get revenge back, which leads to a failed Carrie plot that leads to her own death. It turns out a mysterious figure known as A is the one who kills Karen for being a bully, and they're seeking revenge for something that happened over 22 years ago that led to a very public suicide of a young girl named Angela Waters. There are a lot of moments where we see the past repeating itself, where they do callbacks to iconic horror movies, and a lot of references to the Scarlet Letter, which I thought was really smart. I mean, between the references to A and just the idea of a young woman having a baby and not knowing the paternity of it, it all kind of ties back to that classic book. And then towards the end of the 3rd episode, we really start diving deeper into the secrets that our main girls have, from Farron's scoliosis as a kid to Noah actually being the one taking the rap for her mom. As we discover the secret memorial to Angela Waters, it's pretty clear that the moms have a lot of secrets themselves that they've been keeping from their daughters.
It can't be a coincidence. What aren't they telling us?
Now let's talk about episodes 4 and 5, where we get a lot of big reveals leading into the rest of this season. This is when it feels like they start introducing more 1999 flashbacks that are more specifically geared around the moms and what they did to Angela back in the day. So for instance, we already know that Noah's mom has let her take the blame for her own drug use. And then we learn in a flashback that that's not the first time she's done that. In fact, she got Angela in trouble for smoking when she was the one really smoking, you know? So she's definitely a person who will literally throw someone else under the bus to save herself, even her own daughter. This is also where we start seeing the moms be targeted a bit more by A. So like Noah's mom as an adult gets this bear that looks like one that she gave to Angela when they were kids. And this feels like kind of a big clue that just whoever is behind A has to be a bit older in order to know these things from the past that other people wouldn't know. Noah's mom shifts the blame again when their house gets searched by the sheriff, and it just seems like she hasn't learned her lesson. She continues to do things that end up hurting Noah. Noah ends up getting attacked by A, and A forces her to report that her mom has been stealing drugs from the hospital that she works at. I gotta say, I loved that crazy rooftop jump that Noah did. That was really badass. And then just the fact that A is so focused on getting this justice, so to speak, for what Noah's mom has done. It's like, is this Michael Myers, or like Michael Myers meets a vigilante, sort of? And now we know A is officially back. Last week they thought it might be Karen. I think it's pretty clear it's not at this point. And speaking of Karen, she has a twin sister named Kelly, and Farron goes down this rabbit hole convinced that the two of them swap places at the dance and that Karen is just pretending to be Kelly.
What if Karen's not really dead?
We all saw her fall.
What if that wasn't Karen? What if it was Kelly?
I mean, there are some suspicious things going on there. Kelly switching her dance locker so that you can have Karen's, or wearing her leotard, or kissing Greg at the Halloween party. I think that could be a really cool twist, but I just feel like the way that Kelly reacted when Farron confronted her about it makes me think that that's not true.
Is it really so hard to believe that Kelly Beasley could be popular and talented?
And just makes me think that Kelly has just lived in Karen's shadow for so long that like it's hard for her to come out and be herself. I also thought it was very interesting the way that they shot the scene when Farron is confronting Kelly, because we're seeing a lot of it through the eyes of A, who's shown up at the Halloween party, and it makes me wonder if he might end up thinking that Farron's theory is true and end up targeting Kelly next. Meanwhile, Tabby is working on a film class project where she wants to reimagine the Psycho shower scene, but from a feminist lens.
Our victim will be a vulnerable young man from the point of view of the female gaze.
I thought this was pretty relevant, as the show has touted that they're trying to basically look at the horror genre through the female lens. And it also makes me wonder if it could parallel the show. Like, what if A ended up being a woman? Like, that would be cool, especially with those like slasher, horror, Michael Myers, you know, Jason, Freddy Krueger type of vibes, you know. You never really see a woman in that position, so That would be pretty interesting if they kind of twisted the story in that way. While they're filming, Tabby really wants to have like a safe space on set, and Greg just makes that impossible, and it kind of stresses her out. She goes to take a moment, and this is sort of when we start learning a little bit more about her own secret, as it seems that she's struggling after being assaulted at a bonfire party. When she goes back into work with everyone, it turns out Chip has filmed the whole thing already on his own, and it kind of took away from the message of what they were trying to do, which is have this scene be done from a female perspective, both on screen and behind the scenes.
What do you mean, you shot it?
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe I'm digging too deep into this, but it just felt like, is there something to Chip kind of taking away that moment and taking away her perspective when it comes to this film? Like, should we be suspicious in looking at him? I don't know. He's supposed to be her best friend. I guess we'll see. Moving over to Imogen, she's going on a really emotional journey in these episodes. She's trying to reach out to old students and learn more about Angela and her family and the connection to her mom.
Why does no one want to talk about Angela Waters?
But she's also still struggling with her mom's death and the fact that, they're trying to sell her house. Like, it's a lot on top of being pregnant. She and her friends end up doing the seance to try to talk to her mom. Like, she just really wants to, like, get answers, and ends up having just, like, a really big breakdown.
Why would you leave me? Did it have something to do with Angela Waters? Seriously? You have nothing to say? Fuck you!
It was really nice to see that this group of friends are there supporting each other. I know that Tabby has a lot of lines that are movie references, but I really like this one where they reference Chucky's friends till the end line.
I'm your friend to the end.
They all hugged it out, and I think the friendship in this series is something that really stands out. Throughout cleaning the house, Imogen ends up finding her mom's old diaries, and there's clearly something missing there. There's pages missing. Does this have to do with Angela and these big secrets that the moms are keeping? Let's talk a little bit more about that Halloween episode, which I was really excited to see because I feel like that was such a staple in the original Pretty Little Liars series. We start off with another flashback to 1999. Imogen's mom pushed Angela into this prank, and then they all ditched her. So just another look at how the moms were mean to Angela. And then we head into our modern day Halloween. I definitely want to talk about the costumes, which I think were really fitting for each character. You had Imogen dressed as a character from Rosemary's Baby. Noah and her boyfriend Sean do a couple's costume. They're Morticia and Gomez Adams. Farron is Poison Ivy. Mouse is Wendy the Witch. Tabby was Ellen Ripley from Alien. We get to see some of the jocks as Smurfs. Farron's crush Henry is Marty McFly. Chip is Donnie Darko, and Mouse's crush Ash is Freddie Mercury. I gotta say, I really loved how they set up this episode, and they brought us to the locations that we've been seeing constantly, like the Orpheum movie theater and Pinball Pizza, and they're all decorated for Halloween. Like, it felt like they're really building up the town. So the Halloween episode is when we get to dive a lot further into Mouse's story, which was very wild. I don't think I've ever seen a story like this. And it also just solidified to me that the opening theme song visuals, like, there's a lot of Easter eggs in there, because there's a visual there of Mouse with a missing poster, and that really connects to what her secret is. And her secret is that she's talking online with and then meeting up in person with these men who have missing daughters. She pretends they're her dad and she's their daughter in this like weird grief role play. And based off what she says to Ash, it's like connected to her childhood trauma in some way. While we don't know Mouse's full secret, her moms do hint that something happened when she was young. They mention it being related to a man. I don't know, could this be I guess we gotta just keep watching and see. So she spends Halloween night kind of living a little bit of a double life. She goes and meets this guy Steve, whose daughter has been missing, and pretends to be her, and they have dinner and they go trick-or-treating, and then she's almost late but eventually makes it to her date with Ash at Imogen's Halloween party. The vibes were just weird, and I'm hoping that her budding romance with Ash will help her move away from that. I also think her and Ash are really cute together. They share their first kiss. I also love that we're getting to see a trans actor playing a trans role and just seeing it be normalized. It's just about these two people that have a crush on each other hanging out on Halloween. Meanwhile, Tabby is just fed up with the misogynistic, boring white guys in this town, which honestly I am too. And she's clearly in this kind of like fight or flight response after all these feelings from her assault really rise. She's questioning drinks given to her by her best friend Chip. She breaks the nose of Tyler, who is a garbage person, so maybe he deserved it. I gotta say though, like, at the end, the confrontation was a little bit funny because Farron just had this, like, told you so response that it felt so meme-worthy.
Aren't you? You should have shut the fuck up.
Tyler?
But as I mentioned before, A is at this Halloween party. And we end up learning that he's actually been at Imogen's house before because he has this box in her basement of some of his belongings and some of his tools that he uses. And I was paying attention, and there are definitely some things in that box that I think are clues to who A is. There's a picture of the moms from the 90s, there's a picture of Angela, there's a picture of two kids. And that just rang a bell for me. Could this mean that Angela had a sibling and this is the person that's A and they're the one seeking revenge? And that's the first time that we're seeing that idea of Angela potentially having a sibling. That's my theory right now, especially based off what I said before with, even the opening credits having a lot of Easter eggs in there. Like, I just feel like they are not going to put things in this show unless it means something. After the fight with Tabby, Tyler ends up going to the bathroom that is off limits, aka the bathroom that Imogen's mom was found in. Oof. And he's trying to get cleaned up and instead gets killed by A. I gotta say, the heavy metal version of Monster Mash that was playing during the scene, it was just wild. And I just thought it was kind of funny that A cleaned up after himself. Like, nobody knew what happened, and, he wrapped up everything in a little bag. As we wrap up these two episodes, Imogen ends up getting a call from someone who claims that they know more about Angela and her family and how they connect back to Imogen's mom, which could be a really great lead moving forward. We also have Imogen and Tabby have a heart-to-heart because Imogen's like, "Girl, what happened? Why did you punch out Tyler?" And we learn, unfortunately, both girls were sexually assaulted.
Imogen, something happened to me. Tabby, something happened to me too.
Tabby at a summer bonfire party, and Imogen, we don't quite know yet, but I think based off of the way that the episode ends, it kind of makes it seem like that's how Imogen got pregnant, which is just so devastating, just so terrible. When it comes down to it, I would say episodes 4 and 5 are really where the series starts to pick up. They introduce more of the girls' secrets, we get some compelling theories of, like, Karen versus Kelly, like what's going on there, while also opening up some hope in the mystery, like with Imogen's mom's diaries, A's secret box of stuff, and that phone call that could maybe lead to more answers. Right now, I'm really loving the dynamic and friendship of our core 5 girls. I'm a little bit suspicious of Chip, and I really feel like that photo of the 2 kids in A's box is going to mean something. That's gonna be important. Let me know your thoughts on Pretty Little Liars Original Sin episodes 4 and 5. I would love to hear some of your theories, and if you think I'm on the right track, or we feel in the same way, let me know in the comments.
Consider subscribing if you like my videos, and if you want to talk more TV and movies with me outside of the comments section, check out the exclusive Discord available on my Patreon at patreon.com/kmaldo. If you like this one, you can check out more of my videos right over here. See ya!